Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For all of those of you who are new here, my name is Mike and this is Mike's Philippine Retirement. Today we're going to talk about don't mess with the help. Guys, a lot of you are older. My audience is vastly older than a lot of people's. My audience is 55 and up, and most of you who are planning to come to the Philippines are single men. Well, when you get to the Philippines and you find your home, there's three things that you need to take care of: laundry, cooking, and cleaning. Now, you've been living by yourself in the U.S., or whatever home country you're in, you've been doing your own laundry. Chances are you have a wash machine, a dryer. Laundry's no big issue for you. Two, you probably have a nice kitchen. Cooking's not an issue. Cleaning, though, on the other hand, you're used to rugs, carpeting, using a vacuum cleaner. You know, not a lot of ants in your house, not a lot of things that bite you at night, like here in the Philippines. So let's talk about those three things. Laundry is a piece of cake. Everywhere you go, there are laundry mats, just like this one. This is the one I use. I can get up to 8 kilos of clothes washed for under $5, 265 pesos. That includes the soap, conditioner, washing, drying, folding, and packing it in a plastic bag so I can take it home easily. Cooking. Cooking is something most men should know how to do. Cooking is easy. Maybe you buy yourself a little hibachi grill here and you grill yourself a steak or pork chops or ribs or hot dogs or hamburgers, whatever you want. Most men, cooking is not a real big issue, and it's a great way to save money cooking at home. But the maid, what do I pay? I pay 500 pesos a week for my maid. My maid, like I said, she comes in once a week. She washes all the windows on the outside, washes all the windows on the inside, does the bathroom, changes the sheets, sweeps the floors really well, mops all the floors, also straightens up the couch, the cushions. You know, my lazy boy, I have a blanket on there because I don't want to spill coffee on it. She, shakes that out, rearranges that. She does everything that I don't do. She tidies up the mess I have. If there's dishes in the sink, she'll wash them, she'll put them away, she'll put the pots and pans away, and every once in a while she'll clean the refrigerator. I can request something extra every now and then. Hey, the refrigerator needs cleaning. Let's clean out this closet. Let's clean the secondary bathroom. Because I only use one, I have two, but every once in a while I have her clean that out real well, just in case I have company. So maids, what do maids cost? Maids, if you're going to have one once a week, I pay 500 pesos. I've heard as low as 400 pesos for once a week. A few guys I know have a maid come in 3 times a week, and they pay their maid, this is what they pay, is 400 pesos per visit. And the maid stays about a half a day. And she helps out around the house. She does a deeper clean more often, but she sweeps better. I'm a single guy. I'm not making a mess. Some of these guys, they have a girlfriend with kids, or they're by themselves, and their house they're living in has a little bit more of what I call the ant traffic. Ants are crawling in every now and then. You have a cockroach every now and then. So you need it cleaned better, a deeper clean. But these two guys I've talked to who use a maid 3 times a week, they pay her 400 per visit. So it's 1,200 pesos a week, 48, just under 5,000 pesos for the month, which is a good deal to have someone come in, not just to clean, a security check. And maybe they make lunch for them. Maybe on those 3 days, they cook something nice. So you have a cook. Whatever you hired her. Whatever agreement you have is what you have. And if you want her to make you 1 or 2 meals, enough with leftovers, so you have it in the refrigerator where you can, put it in the microwave and reheat it, or just on the stove and reheat it, you can use her as a cook. If you need a grocery store run or a market run and you don't want to go yourself, you can ask her to go. You give her the money and she goes. A lot of these guys give her the money ahead of time. On her Monday visit, they say, when you come back on Wednesday or Thursday, stop at the market, get some potatoes, some carrots, some onions, and they give her the money. And then when she comes in on that next day, She stops in the market first and buys what you need. If you need prescriptions filled, she'll stop and do that for you also. You've hired her for those 4 hours, and the chores you give her, you have already agreed upon what you're going to pay her and what you request out of her. And if she has to take public transportation, throw her some extra coins to pay for the trike, pay for the jeepney to get where she has to go. But remember, you have an agreement on the amount of time, how much you're paying her, and how many days a week. Be a firm boss. Be an employer. If you've hired her for 4 hours a day, 3 days a week, make sure she's putting in those 4 hours, not 3 hours and 30 minutes. You know, just tell her, hey, you're paid to be here to noon. Stay busy. Don't be a pushy boss. Don't be a bad boss. But tell them what you expect. If you want the counters wiped down very nice, you want bleach on there to get everything off, you want whatever you want done. You want the dirty kitchen scrubbed. You want the yard swept. You want your sidewalk out in front swept. You want the rugs, the little rugs in front of the door. You want those washed. Let her know that you're expecting that out of her. And don't overlook things and say to yourself when she leaves, man, she didn't do what I wanted today. That's not what you want. You want her to leave with you getting what you wanted and she's getting paid. You want your money's worth. Whatever you agreed to is what you want. Now there's the other kind of maid. There's the live-in maid. Now, I'm sort of against the live-in maid. I would only do a live-in maid if maybe I had a stroke, I needed some help. This woman is there every day, and she's going to work from when she gets up until the end of the day. You're going to give her a day or two off. You're going to give her hours of her own free time. Maybe after 6 o'clock, she's free to go up to the plaza or go downtown, visit with her friends, or just go to her room. But with the live-in maid, you have to supply her with food. You have to supply her with a roof over her head, a private room to sleep in. You also have to supply her with probably all the toiletries, shampoo and soap, TP, towels. You have to supply everything for her. And what kind of salary is that? That's a tricky one there, because you're supplying room and board on top of labor, but you're also extending the amount of hours that she's available for labor for you. You're going more from when she gets up until the end of the day, which would probably be about 7 p.m. I've seen people pay $6,000 a month. I've seen people pay $10,000 a month, even $12,000 a month for a live-in. Now the live-in is also doing other things. Maybe you need some physical therapy, and I'm not talking about, you have to see the doctor, but say your legs are always cramped up, or you have, the blood doesn't circulate. You might be getting massages in the legs. You might be getting a back massage from her from time to time. Maybe she walks with you around the block to make sure you don't fall down. The live-in maid is more for somebody who needs more help. And I put it more towards an assisted living. She's living with you, and she's going to make sure you woke up every morning. And if you need an ambulance in the middle of the night, she should know how to get one, the phone number, your address, who you are, what insurance you have, if any, what's your bank. She should have all that kind of information. Maybe put all that in an envelope. But she's there to help you and care for you. Now, a lot of couples, a man and a wife and children, have a big house, 3, 4 bedrooms, 2 levels. They hire that full-time live-in maid because there's just so much work to do, and the wife doesn't want to do it. That's a whole different story. That maid is going to be working hard. But if you're a single guy, do you really need full-time live-in help? I don't think so. What I think you need, like you can find here in Dumaguete in a lot of cities, are women who live close by who will come and work for you from 8 to 4. They work 8 hours a day for you. They show up at 8 in the morning. They come in, they make sure you're awake, make sure everything's okay. They get you breakfast, they cook you lunch, they make you a dinner. For their days off, they prepare meals in advance. They're not a live-in help, but they're there full time. They're working 40, 48 hours a week. Maybe they work 6 days a week, 5 days a week. That's up to you. That's how you negotiate that. What would that person get? Again, depending on everything you want done, and in 8 hours, they can get a lot done because they're doing it every day. keeping the house clean, cooking for you, I think is the big issue here. You've hired a maid, but you also hired a cook, and she's going to make meals for you. Now remember, with that live-in maid, you also got to get a bigger rice cooker, because she's going to want rice a lot too. Her diet is going to be maybe different than yours. But with the 8 to 4, you don't have to supply her anything. You supply her, lunch, and you supply her snack. You supply her some snack around the 10 o'clock hour, and maybe something again around 2 or 3 before she leaves. And she can nibble on the food she cooks for you, and it's up to you if you want to let her take some home or not to her family. What would that maid cost? I think that's a $10,000 a month maid. I think you pay her $10K a month. She doesn't live with you, and you don't have all the extras involved. And a live-in maid to me is more expensive than a day maid. This is what I call someone from 8 to 4. But she's going to make sure you're all right. If you have prescriptions to fill, she'll go and fill them if you don't want to go to the pharmacy. If you have a doctor's appointment, she's going to go with you. Make sure you get into the trach all right. Again, this is almost like a caregiver, but she's not a caregiver. She is helping you. She is a maid, girlfriend, no benefits. None of those benefits. Now let's talk about the maid with benefits, in my opinion on that. If you have relationships with your maid or any of your help, stop it. You have to do one of two things. You have to end the employment. You have to tell them, look, you no longer work for me, but we're still going to, you want to be boyfriend, girlfriend, that's fine, but you don't work for me. I'm going to hire a new maid. I'm not going to pay you to be the maid. And if you want to end the relationship and you want her to keep working for you, well, that's a slippery slope, man, because she always has that you sexually molested her. Even if it's consensual adult, you're the employer and she's the employee. You're taking advantage of her working for you. She can always say, hey, to keep my job, I had to sleep with him. I'm not saying that happens, not saying it would happen, but keep that in the back of your mind. When things go south, they go south. Keep the work relationship a work relationship. Keep the girlfriend as a girlfriend relationship. Don't mix the two. Don't tell your girlfriend, hey, if you come clean twice a week, I'll pay you. Well, what if you break up with her as a girlfriend? Now you got to fire her as an employee. It's a slippery slope, and it's something you have to be very, very careful of. Having someone around to help you. And as we get older, guys, there's a big difference between 60 and 70. What you can do at 60 and 65, and you feel full of yourself, and all you guys back in the U.S. are going to tell me, oh, I don't need no one to take care of me. There are many guys here who need someone to help take care of them. And so they hire a live-in or a full-time maid, but it's not a girlfriend. It's not a maid with benefits. That's a fantasy story. It does happen. You hire the maid. Eventually, you guys have a romantic interlude. You become boyfriend, girlfriend. Life goes on. You're happy. And you don't have to worry about nothing else. The camera is in the wind. But for the maid with benefits, stay away from working relationship, mixing it with your personal life. It's not good, man. It's not good. Well, I hope this helps you with the maid stories, the maid with benefit trap. Keep it separate. Employer-employee relationship, don't fuck with the help. My dad always told me, never sleep with the help. That's a good words to listen to here in the Philippines. Until next time, thanks for watching.